Hi People. So in the background you can hear the new single. This is called I Could. It's available exclusively in extended format at Traxsource. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal some of the techniques that I used, particularly around the idea of these chords and how these were generated, because I think it's quite a unique approach that's going to be worth sharing. Okay, so firstly, let's get this out of the way. So we can hear this piano. I'm going to expose this over here. It's quite a complex chain, by the way. There's a lot of stuff going on here. First two devices are MIDI devices, and you can see here that there's some automation being applied. So I need to reveal this in the actual arrange window. I'm going to zoom in. Now take a look at this. The key to this particular riff, and let's just solo this, is that I mapped in this pitch modulation before playing the chords. And in fact this is filtered, so let me take it a bit later. So take a look at what's going on here. It starts off at 0 semitones, so there's no change to the chords that I was playing. Then it goes up +3. Then it goes up +5, and then comes all the way down to -1. Now, let's just take a look at the chords that I played in. And this was a really interesting experience, because what I was doing was playing particular notes, but in real time, the device was shifting those notes. And you can see that I didn't play essentially parallel chords here. There were some variations going on in terms of the actual performance, but those variations are being, in a way, adapted and enhanced by the fact that I've got these. Now what I could do is I could easily have the same riff that I'm playing here on the keyboard and manipulate these pitches as well. Okay, so that's the beauty of this particular system. So it gives you a lot of mileage from chords that you play in and twists them up. And quite often I find that there are certain note kind of voicings that I struggle with in terms of positioning my fingers on the keyboard. And this allows me to go beyond my limitations. So it's a great technique. And I certainly feel that it really makes this track, really brings it alive. So that's something that I wanted to reveal. You're going to see this all over the place. So it's not just the piano there. There is also an electric piano. And this, by the way, is layered twice. So we have two electric pianos doing different things. One of these is just pretty straight up, no modulation occurring. The other one has got some phasing with an LFO. And just in case you do want to take a look at the instruments, so this first piano was the classic Korg M1, running through an EQ, auto filter, because it's having a low pass every now and again. There is over here some reverb, which is the this kind of lexicon copy, which I bought cheap recently. Phaser flanger on the flanger mode to create some movement, and then there's a compressor, the UAD 1176, afterwards to deal with the levels. The electric pianos, the first one, the more kind of static one, is called Triton, and then the one with the movement with the phasing is this one from the UAD collection. So that's the Electra 88, which is great. A couple of other elements here musically. There is a pad. This is coming from Triton again, legato strings, running with an auto filter. Also ducked by the kick, using the compressor over here, the side chaining. So that's what's happening there. So that's the big reveal, really. It's the fact that these chords are basically working in the same way across the whole project. And, you know, I copied and pasted, used different instruments for these. This polysynth is the same chords but presented slightly differently. This is called Triton, the MMG brass. I've used that on many, many tracks, almost has become a signature sound. So let's come down to the bass. Reactor, Future B patch on the TRK-01 bass. A couple of little kind of vocal triggers here and there. There is a resonant pad sound that's coming from the chord triton. Let me just solo that for you so you can hear that. That's an ingredient I use a lot in my tracks. There's actually quite a lot going on with the drums here as well. These are all running through this Akai plugin. It's essentially the signal path of the old Akai S950, and this is by Beat Skills. And there's a companion plugin which covers the SP1200 sound, the EMU sound. But I really like this, and what it's doing is as if it's running the beats through that sampler. So there's a real texture that I enjoy coming from that. I used a drum rack this time, after actually making a lot of tunes in the fairly recent times, exclusively with the beats coming from machines. So back onto the drum rack in Ableton Live. Weirdly, a snare fill on a separate track here. I do some random things every now and again. A little kind of texture loop that's gated in the background. There's another one here. But there is actually a break beat. I don't know if you can make this out in the beats. So it's like an old kind of hip-hop break, sped up and thinned out, which sits really nicely in the background. In fact, what I'll do is I'll solo these beats so you can hear them in isolation. So all those elements are working really nicely together. Just trying to think about anything else that's worth noting here. I mean, look, really, I think the big feature of this video is that chord thing that I showed you at the beginning. And hopefully that will be some kind of inspiration for you as well, because there are certain chord sounds and textures that you'll find on the scene. If you take a listen to the music that I've made over the years, take a listen to some of the tracks that Grant Nelson has made. Jeremy Sylvester particularly, he has a wonderful way of working with chords and twisting them up. And so, there are always going to be different techniques that people use, and I do use other techniques, and some of those haven't been revealed, but this is one that I think is worthwhile sharing. So, that's it. The single is out now. It's called I Could. The extended version is exclusively with TrackSource, and the radio edits are on streaming platforms all over the place. So I'll drop a link just underneath in the description.